Years ago, I bought a boat with the intent to become a liveaboard and to fulfill my childhood fantasy of being a swashbuckling pirate. Little did I know of what that would entail. Join me on a grand adventure of preparing the boat and starting the liveaboard lifestyle. And now, the core 2.
Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. You're our ability. Being a pirate is alright with me. Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Yo-ho.
Alright, welcome back to part 2 of the core. So, this is the technical explanation. Now, I've struggled all week to try to figure out how I was going to do this, and the easiest way is to not try to rehash the work that has been done by people far smarter than myself. So I'm going to point you in the directions and tell you what's going on. First, we're going to start off with the actual core unit. This is a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus. Alright? And according to the website here, which I have on the screen, which you can't read, it's a quad core 1.2 gigahertz, 1 gig RAM. It has built-in wireless LAN, Bluetooth, and the internet, wired internet. 40-pin GPIO outputs. You'll utilize these for inputting extra sensors or anything, but you don't need it in the base unit like I demonstrated in part 1. 4 USB 2.0. It's listed as a 4-pole stereo output and composite video jack. So this audio jack will actually output audio, or if you've got the appropriate plug, it'll actually output video. It has a built-in camera port, and it has a built-in port for touchscreen displays that you can get for this thing. The micro SD card reader on the back is for loading the operating system, and it has a micro USB port on it for power as well as connecting to computers. Okay, I will provide a link to the Raspberry Pi 3's website so you can check the specs for yourself. They've upgraded to the 4 now if you want to spend it. However, and I have my notes here, you can pick this thing up. You gotta shop. You really gotta look around for this. You can find it on Alibaba or eBay for 10 to 12 bucks a piece for this model. But you'll find it on Amazon and more reputable electronics dealers and everything for around $30 to $40 for this piece. It's worth it. Even Walmart sells these things through their online service, and they sell kits for it. You're looking to spend about $50 to $70 on the kits. The kits come with the board, a SD card, a power adapter, and various odds and ends and stuff. I got the USB GPS puck on Amazon for $19.99. I'll provide a link for it. I picked up the wireless card for about $23 off Wish. Believe it or not, it works, and it's from Wish. So I'll provide a link for that as well. Now, on to the software, which is the real heart and soul of this system. So I'm using OpenPlotter, which is a version of Linux, and I provide a link to the OpenPlotter, the people that develop it. It's called Sailug.com. I didn't make the name. But they developed OpenPlotter. And what OpenPlotter is a pre-formatted version of Linux that you can install on this, and it's utilizing OpenCPN for the chart plotting. You basically download this thing, install it on the SD card, pop it in, and it's a version of Linux, which is very similar to Windows in look and feel, but it's free, and they've installed all the necessary things to it. Some of the highlights of the Open Plotter site, and I will include a link to their documentation, which literally has everything you need. If you follow these instructions, like I did, you will have this system up and running. It has chart plotter capability using the OpenCPN. That's what you saw in the demonstration, was OpenCPN running on this. You can build instruments off of the GPIO outputs on this and output them to real instruments. You can download weather data and have it displayed over the CPN. It uses, and this is for boat people here, NMEA 0183 and NMEA 2000 languages are compatible with this with the appropriate adapters. You can connect devices that speak those languages to this and utilize that data. So if you've already bought a Garmin GPS or something installed on the boat, you can actually output that information into this and utilize the chart plotter feature on it. It's really kind of cool because it allows you to use high-end instruments. I mean, NMEA 2000, I've found radar units that output that information, and yes, it can be used with this system. Signal K, which is a software installed on this, allows you to translate that data into usable information. You can use this as an access point. It operates in a headless mode, which is what you saw me demonstrate, which means there's no monitor or keyboard connected to this. I'm utilizing the tablet or a phone or whatever. Even another computer with a wireless link connects directly to this and becomes the monitor and the keyboard. When you install this system, if you're looking to install it the way that I did, you are going to install the headless version of it. It utilizes the GPS thing, has a magnetic compass in it, so you can use that compass in conjunction with this software. It even has plans and things for designing and building autopilots for boats. And I mean, this stuff gets weird. Like, it starts using 12-volt motors from cordless drills to power autopilots, and then that autopilot can be connected to this, and it's a one-stop shop. You can connect multiple sensors to this: pressure, humidity, light, gas, smoke, battery charge, tank levels, wind, motion switches, motor, exhaust, fridge, sea levels, air quality. All that kind of stuff can be inputted into this and then outputted through the IoT interface, Internet of Things, where you can receive or send data to the boat while you're away. You can have your boat email you things. So if your boat's far away like the Falcon is from me, this system will be able to remotely monitor based on sensors that you've inputted in, and then it can alert you if something goes well or something goes wrong. Connect it to your bilge sensors, and when your float switches get tripped to turn your bilge on, the boat can actually alert you that the bilge needed to be activated. Really, really handy. And they actually create dedicated hardware that snaps onto this, like the Mosetter hat, to allow you to increase its functionality. You can get AIS on this. It's really awesome. The Project Pi Pilot is the autopilot features that are implemented, and so you'll need to download this from the website. You'll need to put it into a USB reader. The instructions on the page link, the documentation page link I will provide, literally walk you through everything. If you can follow instructions, you can do this. It looks a little overwhelming, but honestly, it really isn't if you take the time to read it. I'm not going to try to replicate what they've done. These guys have done it's actually community supported. So when I say guys, I mean tons of people have inputted on this. It's remarkable how easy it is. You can use the Pi 4. You can use the Pi 1. So that's a little bit more on the technical end of it. I'll provide the links for it. It tells you everything. It provides download links for you to get the software. It will provide you with installation notes, how to install it, and what you need to do. Even as far as to how to install it onto the SD card. Once it's installed there, you basically can do all your updating from the system as long as it has a wireless connection. Now remember, with the Pi, you don't need that secondary wireless point to make this work. The wireless is built into the system, and that is what your tablets and phones and things are connecting for the wireless, for the headless system on that. You need the wireless antenna or an Ethernet connection to connect to the outside internet. Okay? It is set up by default for that, especially if you install the headless option. It's kind of complicated to get it to switch out of the headless option and over to an internet connection. It's a lot easier to just plug in an existing internet connection or wireless or both. I'm currently working on this with a router that I have hacked that's running DDWRT, which turns the router into a wireless card, but it connects via an Ethernet. So I wouldn't need a second wireless card connected to this. The Ethernet cable would provide the internet. But just because it's running in a headless option does not mean that this stuff does not work. The HDMI output still works. You can still connect monitors to this thing and keyboards and mice and all those things. If you start plugging in a lot of USB peripherals, I would suggest a powered USB hub, which is a hub connected to this, which gives you like 4 ports, but then there's a power adapter from that into the wall, so it's providing its own power to those USB. It doesn't need to be powered off of the Raspberry. You will tax this thing out. You start connecting 4 power-hungry devices to this, you will start running into issues. This is running on 5 volts, so the car adapters into the cigarette lighters and things like that power this thing perfectly. I went over the box. That's using a couple devices from Adafruit. I will post a link for those as well. And all those do is connect to a 5-volt pin and a ground pin on the GPIOs here on the side. So that thing's plugged into the power source instead of the board. So the board is receiving its power through these GPIO pins. That thing is providing the power, and it's a smart battery charger. It's charging that 18650 cell for the backup power supply on it. That nifty plastic case you saw was a pencil case I picked up at Hobby Lobby for like $4, just to provide a carrier because a bare bones board is not a good thing to have out. So I hope that clears up some of the technical questions that were coming around.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to buy the Pirate a Taco, why don't you think about becoming a patron? See the links below. Don't forget to subscribe. Click the little bell icon when you want to be notified of new content. And as always, may the wind be at your back.